What is the Community Health Champion programme about?
This is something that has grown from the pandemic, and we have talked to local people about their experience with the pandemic and also their ideas about how things could be done differently and better in the future. They've come up with some really good ideas, and I hope you enjoy the film.
During the pandemic, we realised that there was a lot of need. People were feeling really anxious about all the information they were receiving. And we set up a befriending slot where we befriended the Battersea community and supported by referrals through the Battersea churches.
A lot of people were shocked, they didn't know what to do, and there was a lot of panic. They didn't know how long it was going to last.
It was difficult because we couldn't be with our loved ones and friends, family.
I was locked down with 6 of my children as a single mum, and my routine got thrown completely out the window.
It was really scary because I didn't really want to get it.
Everyone went from like being outside, going to school every day, and suddenly you're just like sitting in your house and you have like nothing to do.
I was at uni, and during that time I especially shut off, especially with all the other news that was happening in the world. I was getting super consumed by it.
A lot of people don't know what to believe in the media, and you get a lot of conversations to your neighbours and people in the community, and sometimes the influence from what's going around in the community can kind of rival what's happening in the media. But when you speak to people you know and you trust, and those people are educated, and then you're in a better place.
And then it was the endless changes in communication and advice and information that we were getting.
And it came very suddenly as well, because it went from being like, oh, there's a new virus somewhere in Asia, and now, don't talk to anyone, stay in your house, make sure you're always sanitized.
And travelling, and what was open and what wasn't open, and when it was open. I think there was a huge lack of clarity.
With all the open space that they have here in the community, there could be daily sessions for certain people with children.
I have a special needs child, and they really didn't understand what was going on, and it was a battle every day. What they needed was someone to come on their kiddie channels to explain what COVID was about.
Obvious mental health issues are going to develop over the stress and pressure that has occurred over the last couple of years. And there are spaces on this estate where counselling could occur so that people don't have to travel so far. It's there. And give people something. Give people a cup of tea when they walk in. People like to be given something.
If the doors were open, or if there was big banners on the window saying, we're having a drop-in and there's free food to come with it, because there's a real shortage, people are suffering, eventually they'd come. You just have to be patient.
I missed my GCSEs. I was the first year of people who didn't know what was happening with their exams. So it was a very confusing time because we didn't know what was going to happen with our grades. We didn't know what was going to happen next year.
It was quite difficult, especially for online learning, because a lot of my class is quite not best behaved, so I didn't really get much learning.
And then I moved on to another school, which made it even more difficult because I was in this transition phase where I hadn't met anyone from the new school.
Trying to do homeschooling and going back to that again when I haven't been in school for over 15 years was quite a hardship.
It would have been helpful to have a community health champion to help the transition between the two schools and to have somewhere that I could go to that was fixed, that I knew I could get help from. And then it meant that my first year at my new school was pretty much entirely online. So most of the people that I ended up knowing were just sort of faces on a computer screen.
It affected me for quite a few months. And I think in the same time I was really trying to figure out where my business is going. I lost a lot of clients and I had to find my way around and just start finding work from home.
I was just very unsure of how to go back into real life again.
And some people are suffering in silence. And then there's others that I think is pride. They don't really want to contact certain services, or even if a marked van pulls up outside the house, they feel like they don't want the neighbours to know that they're struggling.
I run an organisation called Waste Not One Not Battersea. We set up to reduce food waste mainly. We were never ever equipped to be a food aid. Social workers, NHS professionals were referring people to us constantly, and we couldn't say no because we know we have a lot of surplus food that we're rescuing from New Covent Garden Market. So we basically switched gears and became a food aid agency, but we weren't equipped with all this. If there was a new pandemic or if there was similar situations, we would like to be of use to the community more, but we also will need support, just a simple thing, paid driver would do it.
I think there are plenty of people here with plenty of abilities that if they are given the opportunity will be more than willing to do stuff.
One of the things I suggested that you have people that are trained and they're vetted and they're monitored to work from the community with the community.
We basically try and protect the rights and well-being of the community, like certain parts of the community that for whatever reason they don't know where to go and get support.
I volunteered at a vaccination centre and I've been doing work for 20 months, getting people in the right place, getting them into the vaccinators and sorting out any queries, questions and whatever that they may have. As I said, for me it's a chance to give something back to the NHS.
I had the vaccine because my grandma, she was very unwell during lockdown, didn't get to see her, and I wouldn't have been able to see her if I didn't have the vaccine.
There was a few different types of vaccines and people were trying to decide whether they should have it, which one to have, and how do you make a decision? And if you do have people you trust from your community, it makes it easier to make an informed decision.
And of course, the big advantage of volunteering is it's an opportunity to get to know your neighbours.
I live in this community. I remember that time I knock on my neighbours. I'll go, I help them with their shopping, help them with their prescription.
We want people who can we relate to. We want people in the community.
There's lots of amazing work on this estate and beyond, and I just think it's just not promoted. People don't know. When I say to them, there's this and this, they're like surprised that it's available.
I think there's a role for using the notice boards in the local community, in the entrance halls, for sharing very basic, very simple information.
So we would like our community to be empowered.
To have local people who know local people, helping local people, I think that's perfect.
I would like to also encourage other people to be health champions.
We could all feed off of each other and work together to really make living a better place.
Let us have more support.
And when you are feeding people, you don't just feed them and run, you end up knowing about other complications, other issues that they have. So we became the support mechanism that the residents needed.
We need to train up these health champions, as you said, but they need to be looked after as well. They need to feel valued and that they're doing something worthy.
We need to be more informed so that we can inform people that we're coming across with.
Years ago, when you were at college, when you were at uni, you had to do placements and things like that. Why are we not doing it out in the community?
I think it's a really great idea to have community health champions that can be an anchor for a community, especially in times of needs, in a personal way that's not just sort of a computer screen with some words in black and white.
I would consider being a community health champion. I find that would be easier to communicate what other young people in the area would want.
Because then they could relate to other people their own age and it would help each other's better.
I would like to be a community champion.
How we will support you.
Once you are a health champion, we will provide you with more information about
mentoring,
training opportunities,
the support network,
education on specific topics,
notification and engagement of local events and activities,
how it works.
You can sign up to be a community health champion.
You give us feedback and let us know what is working.
You receive the latest information on health and well-being.
Together we can make sure you have all the right information and support to be healthy.